with the final video of the free course. So I want to talk about the effects, one-shot automation, and the mastering. Let's go over this here today. If you guys are enjoying these videos, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also check out the Patreon, all right? So first thing I want to talk about is the effect, which I had right here coming from the last video. I used the meta flanger to create kind of like this one-shot suspensing ad-lib type of effect right here towards the end. I used a little meta flanger to give it a little bit of wobble, a little bit more aggressive auto-tune as well, you know, just to kind of glue things together. I used a different type of EQ, which is a stock EQ. Every DAW has a stock EQ, so, you know, it's not like I'm using a REQ or the SSL, which kind of do have their own sounds. I'm just using the stock one to give this one a completely different character because I want this one to stand out, and a L1 limiter as well. So I use this towards the end to build a lot of suspense for that next hook. You know, this kind of like this reverb splash type of situation. I use the same hall, so it's kind of glued up with the lead vocal, but this one is a full send versus where the regular vocal just has a little bit of it going to it, not a lot, you know what I mean? But they're still inside of the same pot. They're two ingredients, carrot, tomato, still inside of the same pot. And I use this as like a splash of water just to create a crazy amount of excitement towards the last hook. Really, I just want out that hold down. Plug hit me up, say he got bitch in the squeeze like it was their religion. Pumping no, we call him Jehovah's Witness. They ain't wanna let me in, so I went ahead and kicked the dough down. Target practice with a bad bitch, young nigga. Really, I just want out that hold down. Plug hit me up, say he got perks and pressure, but it's really for the low now. Karma coming like a boomerang, it's gonna come around and come around. Made up my mind, I just wanna make money. Hated to love it, hated to love it. Grew up and pumping on my life was ugly, but now it's just lovely. I put my family first and never last. I don't even wanna think about the past. I put my family. Yeah, so that was the effect that we have right there. And also, you know, to glue things together, also the arrangement as well is another way you can glue shit. Also put it like towards the end of this one right here, but it was a different ad lib though. So they kind of know this one is coming because I told them, hey, there might be, you know, a little bit of something different going on from the ad libs and the lead vocal, you know? Even want to think about the past. I put my family first and never last. I don't even want to think about the past. I tried to plan out my life and it took a little turn for the worse. Yeah, so that's what you kind of got to do in music. And I use the meta flanger as well, just giving a brand new texture, you know. I'm just hitting them with a 4-course meal, you know, appetizer, entree, dessert. I'm hitting them with everything. And I also had a little bit of automation on the beat as well, just like these two cuts back to back. These two cuts back to back right here, just I got you, you know, that's what you can do too, is, you know, cutting the beat here and there. But I would tell you, don't do it like how other engineers do. Because I know when I was starting out engineering, I used to hate when I go into the studio and a motherfucker just cut the beat just to cut it. Just like they just cut the beat just to cut it, just to put a drop so they could think they did something. But no, you got to listen to the music, and the music will tell you when to drop the beat. You know, I had two good lines back to back. I repeated it back to back, so I did two drops back to back. But I kind of wanted this drop to sound a little bit funky, a little bit weird. So that's why I kind of like the timing's just like a millisecond, a little bit different. Because if it's just two drops, it would kind of be boring. I want to give them a little bit of variation. This drop kind of is different from this drop, you know? Fuck my old ways, I'm a new person. This life is short, so my money move urgent. I got a check on my checklist. Hey, I got your bitch on my hit list. Hey, I got some racks on my wish list, some bands in my bridges. See, like this drop doesn't recover to a downbeat, where this drop kind of like the music just kind of comes back in like abruptly. But I like it a lot for the momentum of the music. So that's the thing about automation. You can use automation as an opportunity to you know, spice up the arrangement, especially because it's hip hop music and sometimes shit is just a loop. And I think the last thing that I did right here too is with which one is it? I think it's this one right here, right? No, it's not the Galaxy Pad. I think it's the delayed piano. Yeah, so pay attention too. I went ahead and went in on the clip gain, and I changed the clip gain for this instrument right here. So when it was playing throughout the whole entire song, it was like a dB lower, but during the last hook, I made it just a little bit louder using the clip gain, as you guys can see right here. So it's this sound. So it's that sound, and I just made it 1 dB louder in the end of the hook because it gave it a little bit more momentum. No, 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 no. You feel me? It just sounded great to me. So yeah, that's pretty much everything for the automation. Really, realistically, um, You know, we kind of went over everything on the all music bus, the all drums, the all beat, and now it's, you know, time to go over the master fader and get this thing finished up. So of course, we already know my 2 bus processing that I would always recommend to anybody. You know, just a Fairchild. I just love how it just brings so much weight and body to the kick. And I kind of like mixed it first regular, then I bring in you know, a little bit of the master fader, because I don't want to be surprised towards the end of the mix when I'm trying to crank it up to the commercial level and finish it off, right? Now, if you're a part of a conveyor belt, and this is what nobody ever talks about on YouTube, if you're a professional engineer, you would know there's 2 types of situations. There's a situation where you just gonna straight up have to mix it and master it because somebody booked you for a mix. And then there's the conveyor belt where you're gonna send it off to a mastering engineer. So if I had to send it off to a mastering engineer, you know, I had to turn it into a master, I probably would put nothing on my master fader just to not convolute the whole situation. But you have some people who are like, oh, you got to put on the processing and then you take it off and you send it to the mastering engineer. But that doesn't make any sense though, because if you're mixing into the processing, you know, that processing is also a part of that sound. Just like FL Studio Clipper, when you put it on FL Studio Clipper and you start mixing it into it, like you can't just take it off, you know what I mean? Because it's actually contributing to why you're making those decisions. So that's a little bit brief idea into bus processing, okay? I'm not gonna go too in depth, but yeah, using the Preacher to give me my volume because it's tube topology, doing a little bit of compression, and just the tube, it just gives so much body and so much weight. Oh my God.
I made up my mind, I just wanna make money. Hated to love it, hated to love it. Grew up in pumping, know my life was ugly, but now it's just lovely. I put my family first and never last. I don't even wanna think about the past. I put my family first and never last. I don't even wanna think about the past. I tried to plan out my life and it took a little turn for the worst that I wasn't expecting. I know that hated disease only keep a little real one around me, I won't get infected. I can never mingle with you fake ass niggas, we ain't never converging. Shawty trying to bring up my past and shit.
I love using a little bit of that compressor section. It just adds a little bit of that, you know, that solidity to the kick and the bass. It makes everything sound a little bit more tighter, you know. And of course, my time constant was 6. So these all have different attack and releases, but they're all fixed, okay? So I either go between 1 or 6. And the reason why is because usually all of these other like time constants are a little bit too slow for modern music. So you got to understand the attack and release of what you're using. Then I use the pull tag. I just literally ran it through, and I do this all the time, guys. I just use this plugin just because it gives that juice.
I made up my mind, I just wanna make money. Hated to love it, hated to love it. Grew up in pumping, know my life was ugly, but now it's just lovely. I put my family first and never last. I don't even wanna think about the past. I put my family first and never last. I don't even wanna think about the past. I tried to plan out my life and it took a little turn for the worst that I wasn't expecting. I know that hated disease only keep a little real one around me, I won't get infected. I can never mingle with you fake ass niggas, we ain't never converging.
And coming back to the gain staging, just make sure that you when you're on your master fader and all that, just make sure, like, you know, you're not hitting the red lights on any of the plugins. You know what I mean? That would tell you that your gain staging is off. But you could always just use Studio Rack to just trim it all back. See, that's why I use Studio Rack, because I wouldn't have to be like, you know, like, I could just literally be like, oh well, looks like I mixed a little too hot. Let me trim it just back a little bit, like 2 dB, so I'm not clipping everything. But still, though, you got to make sure that you're, in general, that you're on the individual channels, that you're not just going red light on any of the plugins on the individual channels, right? Vice versa, if I'm mixing a little too low and I want to push into that 2-bus processing, kind of like how I like to push into my hardware that I have in here, one trim, boom, you just push in there, and sometimes you might get a really nice reaction. Depends though. I use this plugin right here, one of my out of bounds plugins. I think I use 7 Waves Gold Bundle plugins, and after that everything was Waves Gold Bundle. I use the Brainworks mid-side EQ or whatever. I like to use it for the stereo width, makes the whole song wider, and I like to go on the midsection and always just cut just a little bit of that achoo frequency that will of course build up. That achoo frequency is inevitable, just like how you know somebody is gonna have to sneeze one of these days. You know what I mean? You know you're gonna sneeze. You might not sneeze, you might have not sneezed today, but you're gonna have to sneeze tomorrow or the next week. You know, it's inevitable that you're gonna have to sneeze. Just like that achoo frequency is always gonna be there. So yeah, I just kind of like to go in the mid channel and just look around and cut out a dB when I hear that achoo frequency.
I made up my mind, I just wanna make money. Hated to love it, hated to love it. Grew up in pumping, know my life was ugly, but now it's just lovely. I put my family first and never last. I don't even wanna think about the past. I put my family first and never last. I don't even wanna think about the past. I tried to plan out my life and it took a little turn for the worst that I wasn't expecting. I know that hated disease only keep a little real.
And of course, this is modern rap music for my haters. Let me tell my haters a real quick thing, because this is a free course, you know what I mean? But to my haters who will probably say, oh, the vocal, maybe it's a little too loud, Nick. Yeah, right. This is fucking modern music where they put the vocals on top of the beat. I remember when I first started mixing, I would always balance the vocal into the 2-track so perfectly. And then somebody said, bro, this is not 2013. And I was like, whoa, you're right. You got to pay attention to the trends that's going on in music currently as an engineer. A lot of people are putting the vocals on top of the beat. Personally, I like that sound. I love that sound, honestly. So I could blend it in even more, but that's not what modern rap is right now. Trust me, if you listen to modern rap, the vocals are really forward, in your face, really present, kind of damn near on top of the beat, but still glued a little bit. And oops, I think I forgot something. Oh no, they're gonna kill me. You forgot something, Nick. The J37 is what helped me glue my vocal into the beat. So look, I didn't talk about it last episode, but here you go. If you watch the whole thing, look, the J37 will kind of like pushes the vocal back a little bit. And of course, like I said, use a little bit of that filter. It will help the vocal take a step back and stuff like that. That's important because as you're limiting your mix, it's kind of like a panini press. I keep making this examples. Like you go to the sub and go to Subway and they put cheese inside that goddamn sub and they press on that bitch, the sides are gonna start coming out. Literally the same exact shit with making music. You slap on that L2 limiter and your sides are gonna start coming out even more. So sometimes the middle can get neglected. So I will start to boost the level of the vocal and everything like that in the mid channel. But important to know, I don't want my vocals to sound too loud. I still want them to have some connectivity with the beat. That's why I use J37 tape.
Yeah, I made up my mind, I just wanna make money. Hated to love it, hated to love it. Grew up in Pompano, know my life was ugly, but now it's just lovely. I put my family first and never last. I don't even wanna think about the past. I put my family first and never last. I don't even wanna think about the past. I tried to plan on my life and it took a little turn for the worst that I wasn't expecting. I know that hated is
so you see my vocals still sound like they're up front. You know, you see exactly what I'm talking about right there. When I took out the J37, it kind of sounded like it was loud and like disjointed is the word from the beat. But when I put that J37 in, it still has that presence. It's still up front. It's still forward, but it's a little bit more cohesive. It's gorilla glued down to that. I can't say it's a 2-track because we got all the goddamn stems, but it's gorilla glued down to that beat though. I know you see what I'm talking about. So yeah, using the L2 to give me some volume and using the OZONE preset. You know, you guys can copy the settings. You know, I mean, the OZONE adds a little bit of excitement. Of course, I'm using a little bit of tape, as tape was a very common theme here with the music and everything like that. That's another way of gluing the stuff, you know, picking the cohesive processors that go along with each other, you know. So using a little tape here, add a little excitement, add a little stereo imaging, and doing a little bit of limiting right here. We'll listen to what that sounds like with and without. But in a situation like this, I want to talk about WLM. Usually when I turn in a mix, my masters are usually, you know, the whole song is usually at like -7 to 8 LUFS. That's a whole nother thing for a whole nother day. This is just the mixing, the free course for mixing. Like, okay, I'm rapping in the house. I made my beat. I'm trying to, you feel me? Like, you see how the reference track was to how we had it right now. We're going to go back and forth real quick though, right? But because I'm on YouTube, you know, sometimes you can look at the streaming standards and see where you stay at. Because I'm on YouTube, I only kept this to -14 because this was the free course, and I wanted you to exactly hear it. Sometimes if you go to like -10, -8, like YouTube will literally drop the volume of your music, or sometimes they might even use a compressor or a limiter, which might literally change your mix. So something to be aware of. This mix specifically, I only went to -14 because I'm on YouTube. But usually, if I was doing a regular mix, I would do -9. -8, you know, that's where I would turn it in at. Usually -9, -9, -10, you good. All right, so let's listen to what it sounds like with and without the OZONE, just the exciter and the imager. Of course, the maximizer is just making it louder. We know that.
Yeah, I made up my mind, I just wanna make money. Hated to love it, hated to love it. Grew up in Pompano, know my life was ugly, but now it's just lovely. I put my family first and never last. I don't even wanna think about the past. I put my family first and never last. I don't even wanna think about the past. I tried to plan on my life and it took a little turn for the worst that I wasn't expecting. I know that hated disease only keep a little real one around me, I won't get infected. I can never mingle with with you fake ass niggas, we ain't never converging. Shawty tryna break up my past, said she want the old version. Told her I don't give a fuck, jet like a goddamn virgin. Said fuck my old ways, I'm a new person. This life is short, so my money move urgent. I got a check on my checklist, hey. I got your bitch on my hit list, hey. I got some racks on my wish list, some bands in my...
Yeah, so we kind of get an understanding of what's going on. You know, this one is really helping the melody. This little mid-range boost is helping the melody, also bringing in a little bit of top. So sometimes you don't got to use EQ. Sometimes you use a little stereo imager on the top, and it will help. The exciter, just adding a little bit of more texture and everything like that. And of course, with the maximizer, always understand, listen to your low end, listen to your kick. Do not crush your low end. You know what I mean? That's why I like to, at my halfway point of me doing my rough mix, I will bring in the 2-bus processing, because then I can start to navigate around the distortion. I can start to navigate around the limiting and, you know, pretty much just make sure by the time I hit the end of my mix that, you know, first of all, my mix is already like pretty much done. But also there's not going to be no surprises. Some people like to put it on towards the end. That will kind of change your whole mix. Most important thing about it though, pay attention to your low end, pay attention to your kick. Are you losing punch? Are you losing power? You don't want that. You still want everything to hit hard while also being loud as shit, because, you know, just having a loud mix is a great thing. One more time, let's go back and forth between the rough mix. Let's go back and forth between the rough mix and this mix.
Never last. I don't even want to think about the past. Yeah, I tried to plan on my life and it took a little turn for the worst that I wasn't expecting. I know that hated disease only keep a little real one around me. I won't get infected. I can never mingle with you fake ass niggas. We ain't never converging. Shawty tryna break up my past, said she want the old version. Told her I don't give a fuck, jet like a goddamn virgin. Hated disease only keep a little real one around me. I won't get infected. I can never mingle with you fake ass niggas. We ain't never converging. Shawty tryna break up my past, said she want the old version. Told her I don't give a fuck, jet like a goddamn virgin. Said fuck my old ways, I'm a new person. This life is short, so my money move urgent. I got a check on my checklist, hey. I got your bitch on my hit list, hey. I got some racks on my wish list, some bands in...
Yeah, so for the most part, you guys get it. You hear way more depth. You hear way more separation. You hear way more clarity. The vocals was a little bit harsh too at certain words, and so we kind of fixed that too. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's pretty much like everything that we got here for the free course. And, you know, we just gonna vibe out to this. I'm gonna print my mix. The reason why I like to print my mix is I love to look at my waveform. That's all it is. It doesn't matter if you offline bounce it or print it. But if you do have hardware, analog hardware, maybe in the next course I'll use my hardware and I'll talk about gear and hybrid mixing and all that shit. You got to understand too that, you know, when you have gear, you got to print your mix down, you know, because you can't just offline bounce. You have to real-time bounce. But the reason why I like to use a real-time bounce is because I like to see my waveform. You know, I can tell like if my kick is like a little bit too loud or some shit like that based on my waveform, based on my crest factor and all that stuff like that. But that's a whole nother thing for a whole nother day. On the private course, you guys can see that in my mastering tutorials, which are going to be coming up, where I dive deep into them gems. But we done already gave so much information. So if you guys do appreciate this, go check out the Patreon. Go like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to print this out. And I just want to say thanks a lot for checking out the free course. Hope you guys learned a lot. All right, let's just jam out to this and get out of here.
Yeah, I made up my mind, yeah, I made up my mind, yeah, let go, hey, yeah, I made up my mind, I just wanna make money, hated to love it, grew up in Pompano, know my life was ugly, but now it's just lovely, I put my family first and never last, I don't even wanna think about the past, I put my family first and never last, I don't even wanna think about the past, hey, yeah, I made up my mind, I just wanna make money, hated to love it, grew up in Pompano, know my life was ugly, but now it's just lovely, I put my family first and never last, I don't even wanna think about the past, I put my family first and never last, I don't even wanna think about the past, I tried to plan on my life and it took a little turn for the worst that I wasn't expecting, I know that hated disease only keep a little real one around me, I won't get infected, I can never mingle with you fake ass niggas, we ain't never converging, Shawty tryna break up my past, said she want the old version, told her I don't give a fuck, jet like a goddamn virgin, said fuck my old ways, I'm a new person, this life is short so my money move urgent, I got a check on my checklist, hey, I got your bitch on my hit list, hey, I got some racks on my wish list, some bands in my bridges, I seen that money add up in my family, just did a division, these niggas they snitching and squeeze like it was their religion, in Pompano we call them Jehovah's Witness. They ain't wanna let me in, so I went ahead and kicked the door down. Target practice with a bad bitch, young nigga, really, I just want out that hold down. Plug hit me up, say he got perks and pressure, but it's really for the low now. Karma coming like a boomerang, it's gon' come round and come round. Made up my mind, I just wanna make money. Hated to love it, hated to love it. Grew up and poppin' on my life was ugly, but now it's just lovely. I put my family first and never last. I don't even wanna think about the past. I put my family first and never last. I don't even wanna think about the past. Hey, yeah, I made up my mind, I just wanna make money. Hated to love it, hated to love it. Grew up and poppin' on my life was ugly, but now it's just lovely. I put my family first and never last. I don't even wanna think about the past. I put my family first and never last. I don't even wanna think about the past.